All right, guys, welcome back to the Canadian Real Estate Homefront Podcast. Today we have Matt Campoli. It was funny when he came in today. We go to the same gym, so I see him pretty much every single morning. He's like, it's nice to see you not in gym clothes. So yeah, it is nice. Gymshark. Yeah,
plugs them in. We both wear them. So.
Yeah, use my code. Don't have one.
The real
Anyways,
question is, what time do you go to the gym at? Let's hear that.
We're pretty bang on the same time. Yeah,
8 o'clock. Yeah.
Oh, 8?
Up at 7. There at 8.
Up at 7.
Yeah. 6:37. Depends.
Same. Pretty much same routine.
Wow.
Pretty much the same guy in the morning.
Same guy.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. So basically the same guy. Anyways, Matt is a realtor for EXP. He runs Price to Sell podcast. He's one of those realtors where I don't give this compliment often, but I will give it to you. I would hire them if I wasn't a realtor.
Oh, that's a huge compliment.
Yeah, I would hire you.
Likewise.
A lot of the time I meet realtors and I say the opposite. So.
Yeah. I appreciate that. A lot of fluff, for sure. A lot of fluff.
Anyways, welcome to the show. We're happy to have you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Anytime.
Pleasure.
Yeah, Matt does a lot of like great marketing.
Very funny marketing too.
Like funny marketing. Like it's actually like I like it. Yeah.
That's my stuff.
That's your shtick.
That's where I love. That's my zone of genius. So I love.
Yeah. That's your zone.
Like dramaticness to you. Like some people can't pull it off. With some people, it's very cringe. With you, it's like, it's
fun.
Yeah. Not everyone can pull those off. So.
My mom gives me the green light every time. So,
Mom, can I post this? Mom, is this cringe?
Yeah, you look like the kind of guy who doesn't have bad days. Like that's what I like. Every time I see him, like he's not like he just looks like he's always having a good day.
I have great days. I'm not gonna lie. My days are. I mean, I have challenging days for sure.
Yeah,
but I think I figured it out.
Yeah,
I think I figured it out.
Very good.
Mm-hmm. Very good. Okay, so this is what kind of the format's going to be today. I'm going to talk about like 3 topics going on in Canada right now because there's so much going on.
Are you sick? I know.
Like on the outskirts, like when it's like the least toxic at the end.
Yeah.
Like COVID, it's like
I missed a couple podcasts that Cortez, even though he's sick, is like, if Brooke's gonna come, I'm coming. I'm not missing it. Even if
I won't miss it.
Okay, let's hear it.
Great.
All right. So we obviously know the Bank of Canada cut rates, which I know is such a boring thing to talk about, but there's so much more going on behind the scenes. So every realtor I talk to says the same thing when they call for feedback. I'm like, look, the house is good. You're overpriced. They go, well, the Bank of Canada's cut rates. It's a great time to buy right now because this house was selling in the peak at 1.2 and now you can get it for 1.1. And when the rates come down, like the bank keeps cutting, it's going to go back up. And I always respond, have you checked the bond yield? And they go, I don't know what that means.
Oh, yes. That is such a good response to that.
Yeah.
Well done.
So what's happened is the Bank of Canada's cut rates, but that's connected to the variable rate. The bond yield is connected to the fixed rate. The fixed rate is lower than the variable rate. And since the Bank of Canada has cut rates, the bond yield has rose 40 basis points. So the market is saying, we don't believe the bank is going to keep aggressively cutting. That's basically what the bond market is saying. So with everything going on, what do you guys think about rates? Do you think if rates drop, it's going to save the day and we're going to go back to COVID prices? Or what do you think's going on?
I'll start. I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think it's like it's the be all end all. Especially being in the mix. It's very psychological. You introduced me to the Broker Bay showing volume.
Oh yeah.
I've noticed over the year, like when you look at the charts, there's always a fall off leading up to news, like leading up to an interest rate announcement. It's just like a fall off of showings, and they increase and fall off.
It's very psychological.
So I think it's just something for people to talk about at like the dinner table.
Yeah.
But it's not going to have an overnight effect. And I don't agree with these realtors who think that because rates dropped yesterday, that now this house is going to be closer to 2022 values. I just don't think that's the case.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of,
especially if you weren't smart or educated,
Yeah.
some people might say, true, I should tell my client that, right? But you being educated and knowing about the bond yield versus variable or Bank of Canada rates, you can stop them dead in their tracks. But it is, it's a sales tactic.
Yeah. But I think that genuinely, like these, like I would say 95% of realtors believe it's going to happen. Like they believe the market's going to bounce back like so quick and that this was just a quick blip in the system and that we're going to see bidding wars back. We're going to see so much volume. Everyone's going to buy. They should rush, but you should buy right
Here's
now
a question. It's not
because it's going to go
COVID
up.
rates though. So here's a question. The COVID rates, there was 0.99% existed as a rate.
It's free.
Okay. So if it went back to that, do we think there's going to be a bidding war and influx? Yeah,
For sure.
I would stand behind that. If you drop
Free
rates,
money.
free money.
Yeah.
You drop the rates to 1%, will there be bidding wars everywhere? Yes, while the values are so low. Eventually, and then it'll drive them back up where things become unaffordable again. I believe it would happen. I just don't think the Bank of Canada would allow that mistake to ever happen again.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the new norm for a bit is just it's going to trade sideways.
It's nice.
Wow, do you
It's a
guys
good
talk or
thing.
something? That's what he says.
Yeah.
It's a really good thing. Like,
Yeah, I think it's just going to just be the way it is for a bit, you know?
Yeah.
I don't think, like I mentioned today on the live, like I've noticed every week is just different. Like, there's some random weeks I'll be like, holy crap, are all the buyers in one group chat in Ontario and just decided to get active? Like, hey guys, let's get active this week.
But,
Yeah.
But then next week, let's shut off.
I know. Let's screw with
But then in 4 weeks from now, let's do it again.
Yeah.
So like I'll have listings where like I list it, it's just like boof, 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 sold.
Mhm.
And then like it'll be in the same market, and my other client will be like, okay, like, you know what, great success here. Let's put this one out. Dead.
It's crazy.
Same market,
Yeah.
you know. So it's just it's like very hard to understand. I don't think there's like a very clear crystal ball kind of idea of like, you know, we can
Right.
expect this amount of increase now. And I
Yeah,
don't know,
yeah.
I
I
just don't-
think that it really relates to the rents though. So if you're going to rent a condo, let's say 2-bedroom in Toronto for $3,500, what is the cost of owning that condo, and what is the opinion or, you know, appreciation that you can expect in buying a condo at the prices they're at now? So, you know, if you bought a condo last year, they've kind of stayed flat, if not dropped a little bit more. So in spending $1,500 more per month in a mortgage over the course of the past year, did that make sense to own it? Or could you have saved that $1,500 for the past year, rented it, and then bought with it being the same value at the end of the year? So until it makes more sense that paying more in a mortgage than you would in rent is going to lead to longer term wealth or equity growth, people are going to rent and choose the lower monthly cost option until they become kind of similar. There was a time there where rents were higher than what your mortgage payment would be in the same type of house, condo, whatever it is. So at that point, people are going to flock toward what it is on a monthly basis, what is going to cost them the least,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, that's a good point. Bring your mic up.
Bring my mic up. Always doing something wrong.
No, I don't want the audio to cut out because you're making some good points. But yeah, no, I agree. I think that a lot of sellers need to change their expectations. And I'm talking to a lot of agents saying the same thing. Like, I don't want to stage your house. I don't want to get photos done. I don't want to do the blooper video because you want too much money. And I think that's like a tough
Do
conversation.
you see agents spending less on their listings? COVID, every listing looked beautiful.
Okay, well, first off, I will not take a listing if it's not my price.
Yeah, right.
For starters.
There we go.
I think that's where it starts, guys. Secondly, I have all the clauses in my listing agreement where if for whatever reason they don't want to sell anymore or
Yeah,
doesn't
you're
work
not
out, I get paid back. So
right.
Have
And
you ever
then
had
is
to do
there,
that?
what if it expires?
Yeah. Have you ever had to do that?
yes, I have
Yeah.
twice this year. Only because we actually sold the second one. Initially, I wanted to take it off, then we sold it. But there was another one where they just changed their mind and they wanted to build on their lot instead. So I had the whole conversation up front because last year I got burned $10K with staging
Right.
renewals.
What about if it expires? So my duty as a listing agent is to sell your property, and you want your agent to invest in your listing a little bit. The typical listing agreement is 90 days. So if I don't sell it in 90 days, do I ask for the money back? I don't. So I've lost money in that sense. Maybe my mistake should have been not agreeing to the seller's initial price, especially if they didn't want to drop the price and then it expires. But what happens if it expires and you're out the money? I don't know.
So I haven't been down that road.
Matt's never had a listing that expires.
That's like,
Yeah,
I need to update
Like,
my
expire
clauses.
what?
I had one. I mean, I have had one.
Things are expiring.
I
now.
just, the one case where I'm listing it now, and this was from last year, so we're relisting. So
Got it.
That's still fine.
at least I
Yeah.
got that idea. Like,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
and it was a $2 million condo. I mean,
Yeah.
not a easy sell.
Yeah.
So I actually advised let's rent it out. I got an amazing rental amount. We rented for the year, and now we're back at it. So I will recoup, but very competitive in my pricing.
Yeah. Do you
So
find that sellers push back a little bit?
I mean, I just show them the facts.
Right.
Yeah.
They can't
Sometimes
fight it.
people can't wrap their heads around it though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My house is better than that one, even if it's a comparable. You can always pick out little things.
Yeah.
I've been okay. Like
Yeah.
I think because it's just like still working by referral for the most part.
Yeah.
It's a lot of my clients are a lot in the same.
They trust.
They
They
respect
have a
Yeah.
respected viewpoint.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they trust what I say and they know I'm the professional and they listen. I'm lucky.
That's good.
Is this wood? Yeah.
Knock on wood.
Yeah.
All right, guys, let's go to the next topic here. So this one has been something that I've talked about for a long time. I've gotten a lot of heat for it, and we know our podcast got a lot of heat for it, but it seems like everyone or most Canadians are on the same
immigration?
page. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Justin Trudeau, the comments are unbelievable. Justin Trudeau, a champion of immigration, says he overdid it. Canada has announced cuts in the number of immigrants it allows into the country after Prime Minister Justin Trudeau said he didn't get the balance right. At a news conference in Ottawa, Trudeau took the unusual step of acknowledging his policies had placed a strain on the economy. He said Canada needed to pause population growth and let our economy catch up, adding that meanwhile immigration was essential for Canada's future, it must be controlled and sustainable. Under the new plan, the target number of permanent residents arriving in Canada in 2025 would be reduced by 21% from 500,000 to 395,000. The long-term goal is to reduce that number to 365,000 new permanent residents by 2027. Just to note, Canada's population hit 41 million in April, with immigration accounting for almost 98% of population growth last year.
How much was the population growth? Just to put those numbers in.
I think it was 1.2 million.
Okay, so 98% of
over
that number.
Yeah,
so,
over a million.
Yeah.
So everyone has always said, and don't tell me if I'm wrong, but every pre-con thing I've been to, everyone has always said immigration is going to push up prices.
Oh yeah, that was the buzz line for a long time.
Like every time you would go to a presentation center, it would be, don't worry, invest here because immigration is going to push up the prices. And the policy, it has been pretty bang on, right? Like if you have too much demand chasing too little supply, you're going to get a rise in prices. Now it seems that the opposite is happening. And even the Liberal Party, the far left party, well, I guess the NDP would be considered far left, but you could argue that any day of the week, are saying that we need to drop immigration numbers. There's too many people coming in. There's too many students, too many non-permanent residents. And you're seeing rents decline. You're seeing rents decline in Toronto, Vancouver, across the country. I think only Alberta is seeing an increase, but I think it's coming down. You're seeing university towns hit it. What do you guys think going forward? Do you guys think that rents are going to come down so it's not going to be looking as appealing to investors because investors are been a huge pool of the market? What do you guys kind of think about that?
Rents coming down?
Rents are coming down.
They are.
They are.
They are definitely. I don't know about
in Toronto, Vancouver
markets.
are coming down.
And they're small amounts. So when they say, oh, rents come down a certain percentage, the rents are so high that, maybe it's not even that noticeable. So that the headlines trick people, right? But if rents are coming down, there's still people still need a place to live. So they're either renting or they're buying. So typically it's a sliding scale. Like either rents coming down because more people are buying or rents are going up because more people are renting is typically how it works.
51% of condos are investor owned. So if you have less people renting and people refinance, they get HELOCs and stuff like that, and they can't make these numbers work, does that worry you guys?
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's hard to gauge. It
is hard to gauge.
Because a lot of people before the COVID peak, they did that. They did exactly that. Their houses shot up in value. They slapped on a HELOC and they bought a condo as an investment because rents were so high. To the point that the rents could almost carry the mortgage of their investment plus the cost of servicing the HELOC. So if rents are coming down, we have to talk about mass percentage numbers too, right? Because if they say, oh, rent's dropping 11% of, $4,000 for a condo, like we're not talking mass numbers that are going to change things too drastically, but back up a little bit. I'm surprised that Justin Trudeau admitted he made a mistake.
I feel like he's admitting a lot right now.
Yeah, he's admitting a lot. He's really going out there.
But I mean, even like rents before this small drop, we're still, in condos specifically, we're still not covering.
Right.
Yeah.
No, they weren't. Well, that's, I think.
So all these new builds that are coming to completion and they need these high rents and they're not even going to get them. But now with rents coming down.
And the values having come down.
The condo play hasn't been the play for a while, though.
The condo has not been the play.
And for a while now.
Yeah.
Unless you're Airbnb it.
Right.
Mine covers, and mine
You're
cash
lucky
flows.
that your building allows
Airbnb because a lot don't.
I got in trouble twice doing
Yeah.
it in my building.
It's true. It's true. It is very foolproof there.
Yeah.
So far, knock on the wood.
Do you think the value of your condo is more because you're allowed to do Airbnbs? There's not as many restrictions, or there's not enough people wanting to do that to see the value increase?
So it is a little bit more than other buildings. I think it's the location, and it's deemed like luxurious.
Got
It's
it.
Tridel.
Okay.
But ton of wear and tear in the building. As long as the building can manage and maintain itself, the amenities, the look, you go through like ice and stuff like that. You can just see it's been like run through, right? You still walk into my lobby. It's 300 Front Street.
Yeah.
Still nice.
That's a great location.
Yeah.
That's perfect for Airbnb.
It's great. It's amazing.
Yeah.
I haven't seen my unit in probably like a year and a half, 2 years. So I don't know what my unit looks
Cleaner
like.
coming there.
But
So let me read
that.
these declines. These declines. So a 1-bedroom in Vancouver, BC, year over year has declined 11%.
Wow, I just did I just say 11? That was off the top of my head.
Yeah.
oh,
That
Year
was
over
so
year on a
smart. I just sounded- I
2-bedroom.
made myself sound so smart.
Year over year on a 2-bedroom is down 10.7%. In our market, a 1-bedroom in Toronto is down 8.1%. A 2-bedroom is down 8.5%. And Oakville, a 2-bedroom is down 14.3%.
Okay, let's do the math there. Okay, so a 2-bedroom condo in Oakville, let's call it 3,600 if it's a nice building. Okay, 3,600 times what'd you say? 14%.
Yeah.
Percent equals $500. So you're getting that's a decent decrease.
That's
It is
quite-
a chunk, yes.
Yeah, that's a
thinking it was
decent
less
chunk.
number.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Now we're at 3,100.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So
I was thinking it was less.
anyway, so rents are coming down, population growth is coming down. So if they stay true to it, right, like these population declines, and I think the government's going to change hands anyways, we can all say that. And the Conservatives governments are going to come in. They're probably going to cut these numbers even more.
What numbers are you talking about?
Immigration numbers, population growth. Yeah.
so you think that affects rent?
And
Further?
prices. Yeah. That's my kind of thing. Like
Well,
everyone said
there goes
rates
the
are going to come
whole-
down
yeah.
and population growth. So here we go. Here comes the rocket ship.
No supply.
Yeah, no supply.
growth.
So now you have these factors coming against you that are political, but I think they're good for young people.
For sure.
hard out there.
I think that's all people were really banking on
Mm-hmm.
was like that safety net. Like, oh, we still have a supply issue.
Yeah, population's going to grow. It's going to
Yeah.
boom.
Right.
By the
Yeah.
time this pre-con's actually built,
Yeah.
we still have a supply issue.
Recon used to be great because they didn't price it as higher than what you could get the same one for.
It's a massive
today.
gap.
It's huge. 40%
In
on leveraged money.
2019, it was
Yeah.
way different. My condo did well for me in 2019.
Yeah.
Even prior to that, it was even better. But they priced it according to pre-construction prices, so you're not paying what you can get one today for. Now you pay more, so you hope that it's going to appreciate a certain percentage. So you're buying the appreciation before it happens.
Yeah. And you have to hope it goes up to that price, which a lot of people just aren't into, right? Like no one's like, I don't know. You have to be crazy to line up at one of these places right now and to buy
They're
something.
still busy.
Yeah. Are they really?
I was at Mattamy the other day.
Freehold?
Yes, it's different. Like it's a condo town that I just sold. So the freehold townhouses still fly off the shelf, and the condo townhouse, I guess, because there's not a lot of them. So the presentation center in Oakville was packed. My client said, "Hey, meet me at the Mattamy Sales Center." We both live in Oakville, so
Why didn't you say no? Just joking.
No, because they wanted a townhouse. They liked the project. Her
Yeah.
dad works for Mattamy, and they trust the builder. And
Oh, does he?
We had
He
already
probably gets a discount then.
we had already seen a ton of townhouses
Yeah.
similar on the market, and they liked this one, and it was ready in like 8 months. So I'm like, okay, let's see.
Oh, that's
So
not
I
too
went to
bad.
one Mattamy Sales Center, assuming it was that one, not knowing that there's the other location just up 9th Line. And I was there, and I'm like, where are my clients? I'm like, why is it so freaking busy in here? And then I was even at the wrong one, and then I went probably 5 kilometers to the other Mattamy Sales. I'm like, it's so busy here too. I'm like,
Really?
what's going on?
Wow.
But those are, I guess, like you said, townhouses. I don't know if condo sales are.
How was the pricing though?
The prices was
Competitive?
still a little bit more than what you would get one on the market for. So let's say the other ones we were seeing were listed at $899, selling close to list price, but not over asking. And this they bought for $939, I believe, but brand new, ready in 6 months.
That's not too
Not
awful.
too bad.
Yeah, it's not
It's not
too
too
bad. Yeah.
It's still more. It's the point of it though is it's still more. In pre-construction back in the day, you would be paying 7 something for.
I think it's the gap is close enough where people might prefer the value of like walking in,
Yeah.
picking their finishes.
Everything brand new,
everything
carrying
brand new.
on warranty.
You're the first person to use the toilet.
People,
Yeah, exactly.
people still like a new shiny thing, you know?
Yeah,
So,
it's like a new car.
yeah.
Yeah, 100%. So, anyways, on the pre-construction, did you guys see what Pierre Polyev put out about the GST he wants to remove on new construction homes?
No.
Did you guys see that?
Okay, I don't understand that because there wasn't GST anyways. Well, maybe
So with the
built into-
builder, it gets passed on, right?
okay,
The builder has to
20
pay it, right?
No, that's HST.
So he's gonna remove he wants to remove that provincially.
Okay, let's explain that more because I feel like people aren't understanding what you're saying. So when you close on a pre-construction, if you're not living in it and you're renting it out, typically you pay HST on top of your closing costs, capped at like 25 grand though.
Yeah, 24, 25.
Yeah, 24 grand. And if you rent it, you get the majority of that back.
Apply for the rebate.
You apply for the rebate, but GST isn't on the consumer, but technically it is because it's built into the price. So
Right.
GST is what the builder would have to pay the government, and then they work that into the purchase price. So if you're removing that, technically the purchase prices shouldn't be as
high.
Maybe they keep it as high and the builders profit more though.
That's one of the things
Yes,
too.
true.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The builders could do that, and he must. I don't know. He must be thinking of this too. Like that must have been like that came out of nowhere. So like hopefully someone in the room thought of that
It was
as
like a
well,
light
right?
bulb. I'm like,
Yeah. Because I didn't
as a
think about that.
builder-
I didn't think about that at first, and then someone wrote it in the comments on one of our photos, and I was like, oh, I didn't even think about that. Man, like the greedy builders are gonna do
Is it
that.
by a percentage
It
of the
is.
price?
Yeah, I don't have it in front of me, but it was something on like an $800,000 home. It'll save you on your mortgage $2,200 a year or something like that. And I think it was like $50,000 if you bought an $800,000 new home, capped at $1 million. So for me, I think it should be higher. I think it should be 1.5 million because townhouses in these areas are less, but it's a start.
It should be on the consumer. It should be something that the consumer doesn't have to pay. Not that the builder doesn't have to pay, because people aren't smart enough to think about this policy. They'll be like, oh, that's great, and then still pay the same price, and the builders will make more money.
Yeah.
They have to be seeing the savings.
Leave the consumer in control.
Exactly. So there's got to be a way he has to shift that onto the consumer, else there will be builders that say, sweet, but I'm also not changing my prices.
Exactly.
Yeah.
More profit. Mm-hmm.
And then what the hope is that municipalities will also agree to pull some of their fees as well, their taxes off as well, to reduce the prices even further. So there's a federal issue, there's a provincial issue, there's a municipality issue. So a lot of moving targets. The next thing I'd love to see is land transfer tax drop.
Toronto land transfer tax. Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
It is insane.
Yeah, it's nuts.
I saw my client in Oakville. She bought a $4 million house. Land transfer was like, and this is Oakville, 90 grand. In Toronto, it would have been 180,000 for her to buy the house. Just a fee, 180,000. Here you go.
That's why I don't want to buy another property in Toronto.
It's freaking wild.
It's crazy.
What's the land transfer on, let's say somebody wants to buy an $800,000 house? What are we talking about?
In Toronto?
Yeah. 20 grand?
I calculate it right now.
Yeah.
20? No, it's going to be more.
Okay, so for people that have a pre-approval of 800,000,
It will be more than that.
It will be more than that.
Mine and my, let me see.
So you're paying your down payment of 160,000 on an $800,000 home. You're paying your lawyer fees typically around $2 grand.
24,950 on
25
800,000.
grand.
Is that a first time home buyer?
No, that's without first time home
That's
buyer.
okay.
That's just Toronto.
The first time home buyer saves you $4 grand. So
It's
you're
not
either paying
It'd be
21. It's
It's
doubled
double.
too. Okay, got it. Okay.
They
fair.
need to raise that from the 25
25 grand. It's out the window. You're just paying
Yeah.
tax. Here you go.
Yeah, I know.
$25,000
Yeah.
tax.
Well, in Alberta, they don't have land transfer. The issue is that they don't want to raise taxes on homeowners because everything's about votes. That's what people need to understand. Everything's about votes. So if you go, okay, I'm going to raise your taxes, your property taxes. People get all up in arms, so they just throw it on. Okay, if you're going to move houses, you got to pay thousands and thousands of dollars. And as the market's gone up, I think at the peak when like sales volume was high in 2022, they made over $1 billion. That's
in land
bananas.
transfer.
Yeah,
Just in land transfer tax.
Yeah, and you still are running the city at a deficit in terms of your budget. So it's like, well done. But yeah,
those tax dollars though, if it's properly utilized in terms of building the proper infrastructure, like you look at the states and the house values, there's just so many cities outside of the core cities. Like if you drive an hour outside of New York City, you're still in a little city, whereas you drive an hour outside of Toronto and you're nowhere.
Yeah.
So there's no infrastructure to support that. People buying outside of the cities, and usually every city in the world as big as Toronto, things are unaffordable. Nobody can go buy in New York City, but unfortunately for us, we don't have the infrastructure that supports other communities that are affordable. So if the tax dollars were, utilized in building up these infrastructures to support other
closest
cities.
cities are just as expensive.
Yeah. Well,
It's
yeah.
Yeah.
it's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you want to go live in Barrie,
That would be it.
you're at
That'd be the
you're at what 700, 800,000. Like it's still not. You can't really say that's affordable. 'Cause
The
it
houses
truly
you were
isn't.
showing in Barrie 2 weeks ago. I'm like
1.2
1.2 for that in Barrie.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's expensive. You're right. Like everywhere you go, there's a big price tag for Canadian real estate. Windsor, Ontario is like relatively cheap, but then
Yeah.
you got to look at what jobs are out there and what you're doing out there, which is a whole nother animal. So, yeah, it's prices, man. I think they're crazy high.
random markets. It's really random markets.
Yeah.
The thing is that's so funny though too is most of Canada's wealth is built on their real estate, whereas the States, most people's wealth is in the stock market. So they can't let their stock market crash so crazy because people will be out of their money. So they're way heavily on that. Whereas Canada, like the baby boomers, our parents, their wealth is tied in the real estate. So they can't allow it to crash too much because people's that's a whole other problem in and of itself. Right?
Yeah.
Are we supporting the first-time buyers getting in? Are we supporting the mass amounts of Canadians whose wealth
2/3
is
of
in
Canadians
real
are-
estate?
yeah,
Realistically,
No, I agree that
it's
being
a
young and
double-edged
trying to get
sword.
into the market is you are getting, I'll say you're getting screwed, right? Like if you're,
For sure.
you
Unless
know,
you're buying outskirts.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't hate the idea of getting something that shows appreciation value, covers itself with rent or cash flow. But if you want to stay where you are renting,
That's
I own a
what I do.
Yeah,
That's literally
like-
what I do.
right,
I do the same
I
thing.
rent where I live.
and you
I
own
rent
pro-
for less than half of what I would be paying if I owned it.
yes,
It's legit.
And didn't have to do the land transfer tax.
yeah, no like
Move in. It's great.
and no like maintenance. That's on the landlord. My sink
Yeah.
broke. Fix it.
I know. It kind of like as a realtor, like saying it's kind of nice to rent because what I own right now, like the guy called me today, thermostat's broken. I get a letter from the city of Hamilton.
Yeah.
You owe me $2,000. I'm like, oh my God, this is just
I
painful.
just got a new light fixture for free. It was great.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know,
just-
we have a good little relationship. You know,
Yeah.
I do what I can with him, and
Yeah.
I need a new light fixture, so I
Yeah.
got a free one.
That's hilarious.
But
it's smart.
yeah. And I bought a house in Lindsay.
Mhm,
That
like
was
you
my
were saying.
more recent one.
Yeah.
Earlier this year, and
What is
it was a townhouse.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a townhouse. We like broke a record for rent,
Nice.
and
Rents are
it was a
coming
project that I sold pre-con to a bunch of my clients.
Mhm.
So me and a good friend of mine picked this one up. It was a $40K deposit. That's it.
Nice.
down.
Love to see that.
Yeah, it was like crazy leverage. And then it doubled in price by the time it was built.
Sweet.
We
Wow.
caught the 2020
Got it.
like right before everything really popped. Just
Oh,
locked in on this one.
yeah.
Nice.
But area's booming.
In
Like,
Lindsay,
I've been renting all my clients' houses. We've done probably like 6 to 8 within 30 days.
Wow.
All rented, good prices.
That's good. Yeah. Yeah. That's good.
I have
So
to drive through Lindsay to get to my cottage, and I'm always like,
I mean, like when I first started living, I'm like jail.
yeah.
Like, there's a Walmart,
Lot of
maybe not even
smokers.
Walmart.
There's a Costco and a
There's a
Starbucks.
massive jail there. It's all I really knew.
That's funny.
I was like, oh, I'm like, whatever. Let's see, like, it's not that much.
Right.
Wasn't that big of a risk. But yeah, a lot of developers have picked up land out there. A lot of big names.
Interesting.
This is a 5-phase community. I bought phase 1.
Nice.
Yeah, so
It's going
Lindsay.
good.
Good for you.
Yeah.
I just had a guy on my podcast yesterday. He's like a super bullish on like all the tertiary markets.
Yeah.
That's all he does. So he's big on like he won't touch like Mississauga, Toronto,
Really, just
nothing. Toronto proper.
He looks at it like an overvalued stock in a way, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's just
It's had its run.
You
Yeah.
have to think about though, if you had have bought the place you're in now, right, you would be paying so much more in your mortgage because you have a very nice, large condo. Like for that plus the condo fees in a mortgage wouldn't allow you to make these little investments here and there that grow your wealth. That just doubled in price.
I dropped my rent by $500 this year
Yeah, right.
because another one
That's
leased
smart.
above me, and I'm like, hey man, see this?
Yeah.
I'll move here.
That's
Like I will go up
hilarious.
one floor.
You don't want to rent to
Really?
a salesperson.
That's amazing.
That's so funny.
Yeah. So it's been great. Yeah, great experience. I cannot
Yeah.
complain.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
it's been the best thing I've done.
Nice.
If you understand the concept, and I have like my 3 other properties working for me.
Yeah.
So, and next would be like I want to try and go bigger multifamily.
Right, you were saying.
Mhm.
Well, the goal is, you have so much cash flow once your principal is paid down enough by the tenants that you live for free now,
Yes.
right? So your rent's basically for free. Your tenants are not only paying the mortgages in your rental properties, but you
Mhm.
have the cash flow where you're just living.
Exactly.
That's why he's so happy.
Yeah, I know. I just come to the gym.
My
with the sauna.
Airbnb pays half my year.
Yeah, so good.
My one, yeah.
That's beautiful. Anyways, what are you seeing in the market? What's going on with you? You got like a small team? You and another guy?
Really super slim team. Me, Chris, and then Jesse's our operations admin. And it's great. I love it. I love it. Super slim. Chris is amazing. He handles buyers. I just focus on listings. Listings is like my favorite thing. I just like, I love to sell. I love the marketing. I have it like my whole entire system down packed, and I'm just trying to, volume.
Nice.
And then I've been doing a lot of hotel stuff recently too.
Hotel?
Yeah.
Oh,
just
let's
got
hear
into the
about
hotel stuff recently. Past year and a half, it's just been like just chasing the shiny object. But then I've just built up really, really cool connections and an inventory of like buyers, and I just co-broke essentially.
Okay, that's so smart.
Yeah, I just co-broke.
So smart.
Yeah, it's
Explain
like my
what that is
power.
to people that don't.
So I'm just the middleman. So people come to me because they know I have a network.
Yep.
Whether it's an agent with the buyer directly or with a fund or a REIT, they come to me, say, hey Matt, I need you to help me source off market stuff, and we'll slice you in. Yeah. Lots of the pie's big enough to eat. Or on the contrary, either owners directly or agents working with owners saying, Matt, help me find a buyer. This is what we have. Yeah. So I just spend my time on the phone all the time. So in my free time, I'm just trying to do my unicorn deal.
Cool.
So good.
Yeah.
I love being the middleman. It is my favorite thing ever.
Yeah.
And
that's like my power. So
traveling a lot and working out.
That's it. Just like my focus is mainly the listings. Chris has it super dialed in with the buyers. He's an amazing when it comes to customer service. He's literally a reflection of me. And Jesse's just like the support team and keeps all my clients fired up. They all love him.
Good.
So far I've only had this system this year though. Yeah. I finally hit the nail on the head this year. Last year was a massive failure for me.
Well, it takes that to get to the point of being successful. So
for sure.
Yeah.
It's just
what made it a failure?
Just trying too hard, having way too many people on the team, thinking I need like this big team.
I've been thinking that.
Okay.
Not to like voice out of my team's gonna be like, oh no.
I've told you that years ago.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah, I was just like,
I think big teams are going to die, and they're not going to.
Too many
they can be very good.
I've seen two good teams.
Well, you have to be ready and have the infrastructure and ecosystem to handle it.
Yeah.
Because the rule of thumb is what, like 5% of agents are going to like do the work. The 95 are going to be lazy and complain and need hand holding the whole time.
Yeah.
And
it drains you. Because I was sometimes thinking, I'm like, I could theoretically give outside agents from not even my brokerage a referral if I don't have the bandwidth to do it for 50%. A lot of agents will work for that, just like, right? And then they do everything kind of thing, like co-broke, instead of being so close to it and a part of it, and also being a little bit drained, because it's like, I'm trying to get this off my plate so I get a strong team member, but I could technically just refer it as well and then have less of headache.
Yeah, so that's what I had to do. I had to just take a step back and recalibrate, like,
good for you,
how I wanted my life to look. And the ego thinks you want this big team.
Yes.
And you want to be like this big presence and like team leader of like 10 people. But I had to give the ego a check.
Good for you.
Good for you. That is
like
so
even
big.
just admitting
the ego
it.
check.
Yeah, I like that.
A lot of people need to do that.
It's like, when shit goes wrong with me, I'm like, okay, I need to just look in the mirror and tell myself it ain't gonna work. I got to do something else.
Yeah.
Aww, that's so nice.
It's really that simple. The quicker you can realize that. Yeah. Because then I was like, wow, okay, if I go this route, which I'm already hating, I mean, my goal as a human is to just grow and do it bigger. But do I want more of these issues and problems? Or do I figure something else out?
It's like relates back to the more like peace you want in your life. It's not to add, it's to subtract, but have the quality in less than, I guess, quantity. It's
not all about money.
It's not, and it's like you relate that to everything in life too, not just team members or a team, but like everything. And it's like these quotes it's like subtract. It's like that like feels peaceful to say, because there's always so much on my plate, and it's like nice.
No, it's true. Yeah, you gotta create the space.
Gotta create the space.
Or else you're just living unconscious.
True. Everyone is walking around with
on that treadmill,
sleep.
the transaction treadmill. Just So
I agree.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, it seems like you've had a good year. I watch your listing videos a lot, and you're everywhere. One time he was in from Egypt or something. And I was like, oh my God, what is that or something? And he's like, well, it's the moon. And I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
and I'm like, no, but like, what's going on? I'm like, yes, I see that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Matt's got a great
Close up of the
Instagram.
moon,
So,
actually.
I'll tag that down below. But you guys got anything else?
Anything
else to leave the audience with? Other than my
Let
terrible
them know where to
economics
find
news.
you. Matt's a hoot to watch on Instagram.
Yeah,
Some
he
of
is.
his
Yeah.
stuff
I'll
is
tag his
funny.
Instagram down below. You guys should follow him and watch his
at Matt
videos.
Campbell.
Even if you're a realtor, you can gain some inspiration.
I just
from
like that. I just have a great time.
Yeah.
Just have a blast.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
It's in my bio. Have a blast.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, it's in my bio.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah.
I just have a great time, and those videos actually bring a lot of views to my listings,
Yeah. Well, they were.
and lead to a lot of deals. So
Sweet.
That's great.
yeah.
Yeah. Put in the extra work. Awesome. All right, guys. Thanks so much for watching. I'll tag Matt's stuff down below. If you want to book a call with Brooke and I, you can click the first link in the description. It's absolutely free. You get to know us, see if we're a good fit for you. Other than that, we appreciate you guys being here. We'll see you next week. Take care.
Thank you.